Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right. Thank you for listening and see you soon.
Happy Sunday, community. I'm your host, not your co-host, but your host today, Tony Rochelle, aka Pretty Tony. I know y'all like, okay, hold on, the show looking a little different. You solo, what's going on? John is out right now. He needed some self-care, so we kicked him out of the booth. And I hope that he's really being obedient and taking care of himself. But we miss you just a little bit, John, just a little bit. You know, community, it's been raining all weekend, like cats and dogs. I feel like we in the South right now. Like, it's been raining so hard. Like, the water is coming up while you driving. Like, it makes me want to just stay home and eat some chili or some chicken noodle soup or something like that. So, I hope you guys are driving carefully. I hope that you're safe. I hope you got umbrellas, because I was looking for my umbrella, and I believe I don't even have an umbrella. Like, I gotta go buy an umbrella. Somebody give me an umbrella for Christmas or something, because I gotta make sure I keep my hair tight. Y'all already know how that go, right? But we have so much to go into today. We have our community events, we have our announcements, and most of all, it's Sunday, y'all. It's Sunday. That means we have our Sunday conversation, and we have an amazing guest. Like, I'm super excited. I'm super nervous because I respect this person so much. So I'm really looking forward to you guys getting to know him like I know him. So get ready. If this is your first time tuning into our platform, welcome to our platform. Welcome to your platform. We are not stingy with this platform at all. It's our platform, but it's your platform too. So tell everybody to watch us. Hope y'all following us. Hope y'all been keeping up with us. But if this is your first time, welcome. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into our world news. I don't know if y'all heard or not, but Brittany Gardner was released from the Russian prison after one year a prisoner, and they swapped the deal. WNBA star Brittany Gardner has been released from the Russian authorities in exchange for Victor Bout after being in custody since February of this year. Oh, we're so happy that she's finally home. We've been praying for that. I know her family is happy. Yes, thank you for the release of her. Thank you, Lord. Trump's organization convicted in tax fraud. Slim. Donald Trump's company was convicted for tax fraud on Tuesday. According to the reports, they were accused of being conflict by the top executives to avoid paying personal income taxes on job perks such as rent-free apartments and luxury cars. The company could face up to fines up to $1.6 million. Woo! Trump got all that money, so I ain't worried about it. Trump himself was not involved in this trial, as the company's lawyers have denied that he was aware of what was going on. I doubt that, but everybody got their own perspective. Charges have been filed against the accused mass shooter at Club Q, Anderson Lee. Accused of suspect in Club Q mass shooting has been hit with 305 charges after allegedly killing 5 people and injuring 25 more at the Colorado Springs gay club last month, according to the New York Post. Ooh, Lord, y'all know it's so much violence out here, so much going on. All we can do is keep praying. That's all we can do. We're going to go straight into our community events. As you know, we try to keep community on top about what's going on and try to give y'all some resources. So our first one is the San Francisco African American Advisor Community Report Review, which is Monday, December 12th at 5:30 p.m. To register, the information is right here on the screen. So if you're interested, go ahead and get your register on. Then we have our Christmas tree giveaway to the first 100 people Tuesday, December 13th at 11 a.m. and that will be at New Fellowship Community Church, and that's in our Bay Point district. So if you're trying to get a Christmas tree, if you late, I still haven't put up my Christmas tree. This is not like me. I normally put it up the day after Thanksgiving, but your girl has been swamped, so I haven't been able to do that. So if you need a Christmas tree, first 100 people go and you can get your Christmas tree. We have the Winter Wonderland, which is Thursday, December 15th at Ruth Williams Memorial Theater, and that's 4705 3rd Street in San Francisco, California. Then we have the Bay Area Black Media Holiday Party, Friday, December 16th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Rose Mary Jane Oakland Cannabis Dispensary, and that's 2340 Harrison Street, and that's in Oakland, California. Then we have the Holiday Musical, Saturday, December 17th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Southeast Community Center, 1550 Evans Avenue, and that's in San Francisco, California. For more information, the email is displayed on the screen if you want to have more information about that. And then we are still asking for both sides of the conversation. We have our both sides of the conversation holiday feed. We have 2 opportunities: feeding the hunger and unhoused, Saturday, December 17th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. and that's on 3rd Street in San Francisco. And then we will be coming to Oakland doing the same exact thing on Sunday, December the 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and that's on Martin Luther King and West Grand in Oakland, California. We got a lot of announcements, y'all. I'm sorry. Just bear with me, community, please. And then we have the Do That Activities second annual Christmas party, Sunday, December the 18th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and that is located in San Francisco, California. We have the Kwanzaa event Thursday, December 29th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and that is located in the Bayview Park Playground in San Francisco, California. Then we have the roasted crab. That sounds really delicious right now. Friday, December the 30th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 332 Golden Gate Avenue, and that's in San Francisco, California. You will have to get your tickets on Eventbrite. So if you're trying to go get your eat on, go ahead and visit the Eventbrite and get your ticket, and you can go get you some crab, baby. All right, monkeypox is still happening in the world right now. So if you're trying to get vaccinated, that's available every Thursday from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And that is 701 Alabama Street in San Francisco, California. We have our Peace Parks Presents Friday Night Fun every Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's in Hamilton Rec Center, 1600 Gary Boulevard in San Francisco, California. All right, if y'all still looking for things for the family to do, Saturday Family Fun Day, field trips, sporting events, and much more. It happens every second and fourth Saturday. For more information, please visit the email address that's right here on our website. Shout outs to San Francisco Rebels for doing that for community. We appreciate you. And then we just want to remind you that both sides of the conversation building fund, we're still trying to get us a building so we can actually be located somewhere so we can see y'all in person. So if you're interested in donating to us, please feel free to visit our website and donate to us. We're always looking for donations to get better and better to serve community. And if you also want to be a part of our family, if you feel like you want to come and volunteer, you feel like you want to come co-host or be a host, or there's something that you can contribute to both sides of the conversation, please visit our website. We're always taking new people. We're always taking new ideas. Subscribe to our newsletter. If you're not following us, please follow us on all social platforms. And, maybe you just want to donate. I don't know. Maybe you just want to do something with us. Just hit us up. We're here. We're ready. We're waiting for you. Come on. It's so much we need, and there's so many opportunities. So come and visit us. All right. We got all of that out the way. Sorry, that was a lot, but we like to keep y'all engaged. We like to keep y'all with things that's going on in the community, stuff for the family. We know it's holiday time, and money is tight. So there's a lot of free things that you can do out here. There's ways of getting involved. So I hope that you captured all that information. But we're going to go ahead and get into what we're here to do. Today is Sunday's conversation. Like I said, I'm very excited because this guest is very special to my heart. I met him. I don't even really know when I met him. It's been over maybe 5-7 years ago or something like that. I don't think I had my son yet, so I'm not sure. But when you meet somebody and you just have that first impression connection, this is what this person did to me. And then what he stands for and what he does is just very important to my life. I try to follow the instructions that he gives to me, that he gives to community. And I'm gonna just bring him up. I'm gonna just bring him up because I'm excited, and I want y'all to get excited just as much as I'm excited. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring my guy up.
What's happening?
Hey, DB in the house.
Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday.
Happy rainy Sunday. Is it raining where you're at?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I mean, I love the sound of the rain, but I can't smell the rain in California.
I never tripped off that.
I'm from the South. So in the South, you can smell the rain like days before it gets here. But I can't really smell the rain like that out here. I don't like that.
I never would have known the difference. That's a good. I never thought about that. Yep. But it only rained for a short period of time out here. So before you even get, acclimated to it, it's gone.
No, it's true. It's true. But it's been raining cats and dogs all weekend. So I'm like.
It might depend on where you at.
Yeah. But my hair's still tight. So that's good. But what's up, DB?
I mean, I'm present and accounted for. What's happening?
The EI guy. That's the EI guy. Oh my God. So, you're the expertise when it comes to emotional intelligence.
Yep. Self-proclaimed expert. Yep. I feel like I'm pretty real deep when it comes to, I like to say I'm surgical when it comes to processing emotions. So, I like to. I'll wear that title.
That is a huge title.
It's important. The work is important. I think that I just wanted to be uh, a credible messenger, a beacon of light when it comes to the thing I believe, one, if not the number one thing that trips us up in any given moment is when we get in our feelings. And when I started getting into this, when I learned about it, when I was kind of reverse engineering all of the poor decisions that I've made in life, right? They all boil down to me being in my feelings. So every time I lost my temper, I either did something violent or I either said something that was destructive or I took a deep dive into a um, destructive habit, right? I mean, there is a lot of different things that have happened as a result of me being in my feelings, but not just being in my feelings, being irresponsible with how I feel.
You just said so much. Like, how did somebody tell you that that's how you was being? Or did you just like wake up one morning and was like, this is who I am, this is how I move?
Well, good, excellent question. So this concept of reverse engineering was what I was is the nugget I dropped, right? And that is me going back and basically reviewing any conversation, any action that I took through a new lens, right? So it's already happened. So I'm not going back to judge, right? I'm going back to evaluate, right? Like what happened? How did it happen? Why did it happen? And what would I like to see happen different? And so when I get to the why, most of the time, something triggered me to make me feel angry, disappointed, frustrated. Because my happy emotions don't get me in trouble, right? I feel when I'm happy, when I have positive emotion, only good things happen, right? 99.9% of the time. It's the negative emotions that is not being handled correctly that get poor results. So then I have to ask myself, in life, what am I trying to accomplish? Well, I want every day to be a joyous day. I want to wake up every day and have the best day ever. Like that's embedded in me. So when you ask the question, how did I get to that? One, I know what I want, and I want good
Okay, wait,
outcomes.
hold on, slow down, hold on, slow down, because I gotta address something. I want to go back to how you said this. That's how you were being. Why do you think that you were being like that? Like, why did you think? Why was you reacting? Why was you always reacting negatively?
Right. Good question. You don't know what you don't know. So, first of all. And second of all, I was a product of my environment. I grew up in Oakland, grew up in Brookfield. Um, our moniker, we were Brookfield Jungle Boys, right? So, by all account, that means rowdy, rowdy. That means aggression. That means um, minimum understanding with conflict, right? In my younger days. And so, and right in an environment like that, like most neighborhoods, you quickly when you're young. I mean, I so put it into context. I come into the game. I hop off the porch in like '86, right? So we talking mid '80s, early '90s,
Crack
where
epidemic.
exactly where I'm part of the problem, and you quickly realize that you have to be the lion or the gazelle, right? And so either you going to what I'm saying, you're gonna cause problems or you're gonna become part of it, or you're gonna be the problem. So that's why because that's all I knew at the time, that's how I was operating. But obviously there comes a time in that where that type of behavior will cause you some pain, right? That makes you have to stop and shift and say, listen, which way do I want to go? We talking about both sides of the conversation.
That's
Well,
right.
the first part of my life, I was on one side of the conversation. Then I decided to get on the other side of the conversation, evaluated the two, and it was a no brainer which side of the conversation I prefer to be on.
And why did you pick the right side? Is this the right side, and why did you pick the right side?
The right or wrong side is subjective, depending on where a person has in their life. It's a better quality of life on this side, right? I feel more productive and more fulfilled being in a position where I can understand how I feel and manage the way I respond to that feeling in an effort to get the most favorable outcome in difficult situations. I feel the power in that. And so if I have to vote, I'm going to vote to be on the EI side all day, every day.
And what? And I wanna go deeper though. Like what made you
Man.
go? What? How did you just change up like that? How you? Because you can't. You was waking up every day like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm be like this, and
Right.
then all of a sudden you said you wanted to be on the good foot. Like, what
No,
was
not
that?
all of a
What? How did I need to know?
excellent question. So not all of a sudden, a combination of poor decisions, and then I made a decision that really almost cost me and someone else their life. And I
Okay, there
lost
it
my
is.
temper. And so I lost my temper to the point where I tried to take a man's life over something super petty. And without revealing a bunch of details, it was that I paid this person to do something, some labor on a house. They did not do what they said they were going to do. And here's the cold part about it: I gave him a pass two, three times by not doing things when he said he was going to do it. And then that actually made my anger worse because ain't nothing worse than giving somebody a pass and then
Oh yeah, you a sucker. You a
you
sucker.
feel like they
If
still
you gave
playing you,
gave
right?
somebody a pass.
Exactly. You already
And
lightweight.
your word is your bond. And you said you was gonna do this, and I didn't paid you, and then you gave him a pass.
Yeah. And you know when you give people a pass, you already feel a certain kind of way like that because you didn't want to let it go in the first place. But I would caution people when you give folks passes, make sure your passes are real passes. Because when you give someone a pass, you're saying, I am not going to trip off what you did or did not do. I'm going to let the moment pass, which means that you let it go. You can't just let it pass a little bit, but then still be holding on, you know what I mean, to the waist, you know what I mean, the waist of it, or holding on to the shirt of it just in case. Because what happens is that as things continue to happen, you start, I like to call emotionally stacking, right? So you're like, oh, first I let you get away with this. And now you done this. And then somebody over here ain't got nothing to do with it, but I didn't gave them a pass. And so what is happening, you are stacking your emotions, right? And so that gets heavy. And then you know what they say, pressure busts a pipe or make diamonds. And so that emotional pressure, because you didn't told yourself that you've been cool, will explode all at once, more than likely. And so that's what ended up happening with me. Cost me some jail time, cost me, strained relationships with my family, cost me a lot of money. And that is the moment that I realized, now back to the original thing, when I'm sitting in Santa Rita facing 8 years for this act. And for the record, the gentleman did not die and it ended up working itself out. But the point is, after it happened, I always say when emotions are high, logic tends to be low, right? It's like a scale. The higher the emotion, the lower the logic. So when I seen this guy after multiple times giving him a pass, my emotions are high. I'm emotionally charged. So when I see him, it's on, spot him, got him, right? On and pop. And in that moment, you couldn't tell me nothing. When it's all said and done, and I'm arrested, and I'm in Santa Rita, and I'm not emotionally charged, all of a sudden, all of the other options I could have exercised become crystal clear.
Because you were
Why?
sitting with yourself.
Exactly, because now logic has kicked in, right? So now I'm like, I knew who I was dealing with in the first place. I could have just went on and got somebody, like all the things that saying to myself, you didn't have to do that in the first place. And it sounds silly, but that's how powerful the formula of when emotions are high, logic is low. And so when I'm reverse engineering and when I unpack everything, the common denominator is me being in my feelings and overreacting to those feelings. And so when it got me in that extreme situation, I started looking at other situations, the relationships I've been in, the relationship with my children, my friendships, my business, anything that went haywire had to do with either be me being in my feelings or someone else. So that's when I knew, and especially in our community, right? Because we get in our feelings and we think that gives us permission to act a fool, right? And then we play victim, right? When it's time to be held accountable. Because I'll pause after this. Because you are free. We have free will. You are free to make any decision that you want to make, but you are not free from the consequence that comes as a result of that.
That's a gem right there for real. That's oof. That kind of hit home. That hit home. But I want to talk about community and being a victim because you said something earlier. You said you was from Brookfield, right? Um, and a lot of us we do adapt to our environment. Do you think that if that wouldn't have happened if you didn't end up in Senorita, if you didn't go to jail, do you think that your emotional intelligence would have switched? I mean, I know it's just a kind of a guess
I mean, who
because
knows? I could be. We could have never met. That's for sure. I mean, I can go down a list of people that's just like me that are dead or in jail, or to this day don't have any direction in life because they were not able and they still haven't been able to figure out, right, which side of the conversation they want to be on. So, in a way, I'm kind of thankful that that happened to me in a way where it was extreme enough to get my attention, but not detrimental enough to destroy, right, my life. Because I'm thankful that my assignment, right, is to be this beacon of light around this conversation of emotional intelligence that that's not being held heavy in our community. That we're talking about it more since I started doing it, and not necessarily because of me, just that eventually things evolve. But I definitely grabbed a position in this conversation, right, ahead of some of the people that might be talking about it now. But I don't care how many people talk about it. The more people pushing the wagon, the harder it's going to roll. I just think that the ultimate goal is that everybody, no matter where you are and what you're doing, that you have what we like to call emotional willingness, that you are always willing to process the information, the experience that you are having through the lens of emotional intelligence. And all that means is that you're going to be self aware, how you feel about what's happening. You're going to manage how you respond to what's happening. You're going to observe, should I get into this now or should I get back with it later? And you're going to put value on what we like to call relationship intelligence. Used to call it managing your relationships. I like relational intelligence now because we need to be smarter about the people who we give access to our lives, because sometimes if you figure yourself in playing this game of life and you're on the field or the court, We have some people that are in the front row who really need to be in the bleachers, right? And there are people in the bleachers who really need to be in the front row, but we won't give them tickets because we afraid for them to see us play up close. So relational intelligence, I think, is idea. And so what I just did was really break down in a simple form what is emotional intelligence. Your ability to be self-aware, manage the way you react to things, have enough game to know should you be in or out, and make sure that you are orchestrating, right, a winning team in your life and not make exceptions, right, for people because they're your family or because you grew up with them or because you did this together. And really assessing people based on the energy they bring and the value add, right, that they may have in your life and vice versa.
Now you literally just answered my question without me asking it, so I appreciate that. But I want to go back to what you said, that you said because of you. I want to tell you that, and this is real talk, heart to heart. It is because of you in our community. You have a lot. You have a big impact in our community. I sometimes I run a lake and I see people with your shirt on.
Oh, yeah, I know what
I go to people's houses, and you know how people have their displays of their books, and they got
mm,
they favorite books. That you always see the Holy Bible. You
yeah.
see, you see maybe like a daily read, and I see that, and I see one of your books, and that has
Right.
happened multiple times. So I want to, if nobody else has told you, which I'm sure someone has told you, but you have made a very big impact on our community, and we really, really appreciate that.
I appreciate that. That thank you for that insight. I haven't heard the about the book selection. I have people do tell me when they see other people wearing the gear, um, but I'm just intentional about what I want to leave behind. A lot of people talk about legacy, and for me, my legacy is not monetary, right? My legacy is that, I want, 100 years from now, I want people to practice emotional intelligence, be processing things in a way and quickly that makes sure that everybody involved gets the best results, even when I don't like it, even when they don't like it, even when they disagree about it. And they say to themselves, there was this guy, back in the 2000s, right, who wrote these books or led this charge when it comes to emotional intelligence. And because of that, I'm going to do this. And I feel like, you know, children, my grandkids, kids, if everybody governs themselves, right, to the EI code, if you will, right, the emotional laws of human nature, it's almost impossible not to be prosperous. You know what I'm saying? Because you're always going to be light years ahead of people who don't. And most people don't want to practice it because it makes them feel good temporarily to act a fool. But more often than not, after they've done that, there is a moment of regret. There is a moment of second guessing the way you went about doing it, or there is some consequence that you can't shake for a period of time because of what you did in the moment. And so I'm just going to play chess, not checkers. I'm going to always stay ahead of the game. And even when I slip up, like I say, my bounce back game, I'm saying, is second to none because it, if you catch me out of pocket with my anger, you had to be there, right? You had to be there in the moment, but you're also going to watch me recover because I'm intentional, right? I'm very intentional about how I want to represent myself. And that's why I say I'm surgical when it comes to this emotional intelligence and leading the charge and getting people to understand, anybody, open minded people to understand. I have no desire to work with someone who doesn't want to understand it, right? It's the old saying in the street, say, you're going to mind somebody. It ain't got to be me.
It seemed like it's a lot of work, though. It seems
Okay, let's
so
talk about it.
challenging. It seems like it's got to be a lifestyle. And I mean, I know I've been doing the EI work for at least 5 years,
Yeah.
and I'm saying that to you that it is challenging for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of work for me. I wasn't just spitting out statements. I should have said I me. I mean, I look. I got your books right here. You see this? I got the notes in here. I
Yeah,
got them.
yeah.
They're close to my heart, and it is very conscious on my mind and on my spirit and on my heart. So it is helping a lot. But can we just talk about like the hardness of it, the consistency of it, like a person that want to get started with this training, like what is the advice?
Excellent question. So, what I want, first of all, let's put it into context in terms of any skill that you develop is not easy, right? Any skill worth having, right? You want to go be a real estate agent, you're going to have to study, right? You're going to have to, it's going to take you in that test, right? If you don't, you know what I mean? If you don't study, you're probably not going to pass. You want to be a lawyer, there's a new job you want to get, right? That you have to develop skills. So let's even not even put any weight on it being hard, right? Anything worth having is going to be challenging because sometimes that's just the reason right there not to practice it, right? The other part of it is that, man, I'm gonna talk directly to you, right? Because we've been around and we've been doing this. One of the things that I think I hear, because your spirit wants to do it, right? Like spirit, like you want to, you
Yes.
everything about you is lively, right? And so, but you have limited beliefs, right? That keeps you from excelling to where you know you want to be. And you know exactly what they are. But when I hear you talk about, because you can articulate both sides of the conversation,
Yes, I
right?
can.
I never hear you on one side of it. When you come to me, the times that you have come to me and said, hey, bro, this is what happened. You tell me all sides of the conversation. You basically are coaching yourself. You just
You
wait
helped
for
me
me.
coach myself, just by the way.
Well, but I'm
You
saying
has
to
helped.
you, right? What I'm saying to you when I'm listening, and I listen to a lot of people, you got the most of it taken care of. You're just looking for me to clear it out a little bit, but you're already there. So that when I say limited belief, the limited belief is that you are not giving yourself permission and credit that you can handle it in that moment. And then when somebody does something to you or whatever the situation is, when it hits a certain nerve, we'll just call it a nerve for now, right? Or a certain pain point, you have not decided that even though they hit that, even though they struck that nerve, I'm still not going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go on this side of the conversation. And why? And it's not about holding your tongue, squashing your words, suppressing your feelings, or letting people get away with it, because that's the beliefs that I'm talking about. Whatever you're telling yourself that activates, right, make you stay on the other side of it. You have to understand that the goal is that most people, everybody got work they need to do on themselves, and everybody is going to show up different ways. When you take the responsibility of practicing EI, and sometimes people don't want it, you know how they say there's a meme going around like, don't be the bigger person today. You know what I mean, sis? Let them know they got the right one today or whatever, right? That is people trying to give permission, right, to act up. But the reality of it is we need to stay on higher ground. We need to vibrate at a higher frequency because that's where the sweet spot is at. That's where the glory, that's where the prosperity is at. That's where the lightness of the day. I get up every day and it's a good day, right? I experience every moment. There's a euphoria in every conversation that I have. That's personal freedom and that's priceless. So when someone asks me how I'm doing, when I say fantastic, That ain't cliche. I'm not saying that the mask, now, I really feel good because every interaction, I'm taking the opportunity to practice emotional intelligence. I'm packing light, I'm processing, I'm catching, releasing, I'm not taking things personal. I am moving towards solutions and away from problems. I'm all up in it. So when I go to sleep at night, you know what I'm saying? I'm sleeping peacefully because they say you cannot get no rest at night if it's your soul that's tired.
But you use the word intentionally.
You
You
got
know.
to. The law of
Um.
intentionality. Your
Ooh.
emotional growth is not going to just happen. You got to be intentional. You got to want it. And everybody doesn't want it. And I get it, you know, but it's sweeter on this side, right?
Sweet on the
It's
side.
sweeter on this side. Opportunities are sweet on this side, right? I live the life. I'm not, my life, the beauty of my life is not in a future. It's not down. It's right now, right? But I'm responsible, right? Because I'm responsible for how I act, no matter how I feel. These are simple emotional laws of human nature, simple codes that all you have to do is accept them, right? Believe them, right? So accept what's being shared with you, believe that they work, and then communicate them effectively. Hey, that's a freestyle. That's an
It
ABC,
really
right?
was. It really. I was
Yeah,
like, let me
man.
get my phone
Write
real
that
quick.
down for me and send it to me.
I literally was like,
That
let
was a good,
me.
yeah. Yeah, that was fresh off the press, right? Right there, there's ABCs of EI, right? Accepting, right, the code, believing that it works, and communicating what you know. Please text that to me. That's fresh off the
Okay.
press.
I literally was like, let me just grab my phone real quick. I'm always grabbing my phone
Yeah,
when I talk to
yeah,
you.
you do
I'm
grab it
always
every
like,
now.
hold on. And you be like, you can hello, I'm here. Hold on, I'm just writing some notes. See, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate you in my life like that.
That's what's up.
You know, when we do a lot of things in life. We have to be parents. We have to go on a job and be professional and change hats of who we are typically when we're at work, and we have different relationships with friends and neighbors and church friends and just all type of people in our lives, surrounded by us. And how do you know if someone is lacking emotional intelligence? I know you're already dealing with yourself because you're aware of what you got going on. But how do you pinpoint those people that surround you, that you see a lot, that you have to interact with?
Good question. So you know I spend more time looking in the mirror than I do out the window, right? So I think it's challenging trying to assess whether someone's practicing emotional intelligence or not. But I also think it's obvious, right? In any interaction, any energy, right? So energy is the conduit of, when it comes to emotional intelligence, right? Understanding the energy of the people that surround you. So you know off the cuff if somebody is vibing, right, in a way that makes you feel good or makes you feel like, let me give you some space. So that right there to me is an indicator whether someone cares enough, right, to practice emotional intelligence. But I don't know if it is up to me to decide that. I'm only responsible for how I act, right? When that person makes me feel a certain kind of way. And I'm only responsible, right, to how much I give that person access to me. I am in charge of who gets access, right, to my game. Period. I'm not giving out tickets to everybody. And if you have a ticket and you out here scalping and bootlegging with it, right? I am going to, right? Access denied. I am cutting off the QR code, right? Because you don't know how to handle it. So, but that doesn't mean that you can never come back. And I'm always open. We talk about both sides of the conversation. I'm always open to the conversation when you show up like you want to have both sides of the conversation.
Okay,
You
hold on. Stop right there.
okay?
Because you said something. Because someone like me that's practicing these tools that's laid out in front of me and that's really taking them seriously, and then when you decide to approach that person and bring this to their attention and they still don't, I mean, I heard what you said, like you can go bye-bye, you can go bye-bye, but how do I put that in perspective? Let me see. How do you, man,
Somebody that seems so close to you, you can't really get rid of them. Is that how you
it's not
mean?
even that you don't want to, it's not even that you getting rid of them, it's just that you trying to make them acknowledge their emotional intelligence.
But it's not.
like
But don't. That's
like
not
is
your
that your job?
responsibility.
Is
It's
that
not
your,
your job. No, no.
I mean, not to like, I mean, is it somewhat of your job just to at least let them know, like, I'm not feeling your emotional intelligence. I can't fool
No.
with you. Like, I'm cutting you off. Like, do you just cut them off, or do you,
Well, why?
what do you,
Why do you need to let them know, right? If they are not aware, first thing about emotional intelligence is self awareness. If they're not aware enough to know that the interaction with you is not in flow, you have all the answers you need right then and there.
but what if they just not interaction with you? It's just not just you. It's several people that may say that about that person.
I'm only responsible for me. I am masterful at minding my business. It's not my business. And I don't care who you are. It's not my business. If you decide to be irresponsible with your vibes, that is on you. I I am here if you want to improve, if you want some insight, if you want a new perspective. I'm only making myself available for those who want to help themselves. This goes for my kids, this goes for my cousin. It doesn't matter who you are, right? Now, some people you have to, now, if you have a,
That's why I asked you about the co-workers and the people that you, because the family, kind of how to handle them a little differently. But I'm
well,
talking about the
not, not,
people like
not,
that you work with, the
not
people you go to church.
100% though, right?
No, not no, no. It's both sides to that, but
Yeah, exactly. I mean, humans are humans, right? Sometimes people got to burn to learn, right? If I'm telling my 15-year-old son or my 19-year-old daughter, I'm just throwing out numbers right here. I'm trying to guide them and they don't want to, you know what I'm saying, follow my lead, then you gonna mind somebody. It ain't got to be me. If I show up to my job and my I worked in a toxic, and you don't get no more toxic environment in the probation department, right? Like I worked in the probation department, and that it is what it is, right? You just navigate. I'm a vibrate at a higher frequency. See, as long as if I'm, you know how they say eagles don't soar with pigeons. You know what I'm saying? It's like as long as I'm subjecting myself to those lower level conversations, then I'm going to be sucked into it. I still can come to work, do my job. If I have to communicate to you about something that's job related, I'm going to pick the right time to do it. I'm going to state what needs to be done, and then I'm going about my business. If this person does not do what they're supposed to be doing, there is someone else who is supposed to be able to go to get them to do what they're doing, not me. If I am the person, the supervisor, the manager, then it's a different conversation. Then we're going to start the progressive discipline process if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. But what's not going to happen is you're not going to suck me in, right, to all this drama filled ways about how you feel, this and that. It's straightforward. I'll have those healthy conversations with people who have the same objective because we're not going to always agree, but we can have a healthy conversation about it. But someone who is determined, right, to be negative Nancy, right, or
yeah.
just want to be disruptive Dan or whatever you want to call it, situational awareness. How do I handle, right, this person? They don't get the power, right, to be able to determine how I'm going to feel for the day and what kind of day I'm going to have. If I am allowing that to happen, then DB has to go back to self and saying, how am I putting, right, my joy and my peace in someone's hand? Because my goal is to protect my peace at all times, and at all costs. And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna pause for a second because you had said something about, well, is it my, don't you supposed to let them know? And what if you need to say this to them? And we've talked about this before in different conversations. It is hard to have a peace of mind when you trying to give people a piece of your mind, and you got all of these things. I have aligned them as the EI code for a reason. For when you're spinning and be like, wait a minute, what about this? You draw yourself. That's what the intentionality comes in at. You intentionally go back to the things that you already know. That's why you have to accept it, believe it, and communicate through it. Ooh, I like that. You're gonna see that in the next training. Ooh. Make sure you text me with that. Yeah. So I'm gonna let me pause for a second because we coming to the top of the hour. Make sure you have more questions.
No, so it just be so much talking to you so much. What what about assuming? Is
What about it?
assuming a part of emotional intelligence?
You mean
Like
like,
assuming that this person don't like you, or assuming that this person um is trying to hurt you or get you, or
hmm,
like
um, you know, so yes, we can fit it in there. So it's hard for me to subscribe to that because I don't really care if somebody likes me or not, right? Because I'm gonna show up as a good person, right? I do my best to be a good person. If someone decides they don't like me, that's on them. If they want to talk about it, we can. So I don't lead my life in assumption. I don't judge too quickly, right? I try not to judge people. I'm just very easy going. Like I allow people to be who they're gonna be, and I decide if they get to be that around me.
you're so strong, strong black man.
But you know what though, sis, I'll accept that the strength piece, but really I'm just committed to everything that I've showed you and will continue to show you. Well, no matter what you ask me, I am going to bring it back, right, to all of the principles and strategic insight that we talked about. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you push forward. You don't, they say you'll never reach your destination if you stop at every barking dog, right? And so what that is means that if you're on your way somewhere, and every time there's a dog barking behind the gates, you stop and you mess with it. You are walking from one space to the next. Every car pass by and trying to holler at you. If you stop, like every time you stop, you are holding yourself back from going to where you need to go. When you are clear about who you are and where you're going, you easily can say no to everything that's not that. There are things that people ask me in life, will I do this? All I do is think about, is that alignment with where I'm going? If it's not, it's a no. Now, the person who receives the no might feel a certain kind of way. Oh, you should be doing this. Oh, shit, but that ain't on me, right? That's on them. Listen, I am not setting myself on fire trying to keep somebody else warm. Just because you throw me the ball doesn't mean I gotta catch it. It's
And
just that
again,
simple.
how did you get to that point?
Because I'm gonna protect my peace at all times and at all costs. And it doesn't matter the who. I got to the point because I decided, right? How did I get there? I decided. I decided that life is much sweeter with positive emotions. Life is much more fulfilling when you are operating in your purpose. I govern my well being by this because it works. And I like the feeling. So there's nothing else for me to talk about in terms of what's on the other side. So everything that doesn't look like what I'm subscribing to, it's like me being vegan, right? Meat eaters have other side of the conversation, got hella shit to say, right? Excuse me, hella stuff to say,
That's okay.
right?
We keep
Okay,
it fresh here.
right? About someone who's a vegetarian or vegan. But that's only because their beliefs make them believe, or one believe, that you have to eat meat. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not mad at you for eating meat, but don't be mad at me for not eating meat. But if you invite me to a barbecue spot, I'm not going, right? There's not, if I'm not drinking, if I don't drink alcohol, then I'm not going to the bar. Period. If I don't watch sports, I'm not going to the game. Some decisions that come in your life, you easily, it's like no. But when it comes to certain individuals, certain conversations, certain environments, sometimes we struggle with being able to say no. So then I create these other spaces that allow you to give yourself permission, right? With these isms, right? To be like, you know what? I'm not setting myself on fire trying to keep somebody warm. So if you invite me somewhere and I don't want to go, I'm not going to say yes or maybe and then be tripping the whole time trying to wiggle my way up out of it. I'm going to say thank you, but I'm not going to be able to make it. And that's just the bottom line. And I shouldn't have to, if we have a quality relationship, you accept that and you move on. I said I did a whole talk one day and asked people, I say, man, listen, when you invite when you invite people to something, whatever it is it an invite or is it a subpoena? Right? Right? Because an invite is just saying, hey, this is happening. I thought about you. If you're available, come through. A subpoena is like you are summoning the person, and if they don't show up, it's going to be a problem, right? And that's how most people send out stuff. It's almost like a subpoena. So when they don't show up or they doing something else, they all in their feelings. And so the punishment is the mood and attitude, right, that they get from that person when they see him again. And so that's why emotional intelligence is important, so that you are making decisions, processing information through a logical lens and not an emotional.
Ooh, yeah. You were saying a lot of my characters as you were talking. Because you know what? I'm about to celebrate my birthday, and I had no idea what it was like trying to throw a party, first of all. It's just completely expensive.
Yes.
And I had this whole list of 150 people, and I was like, wait a minute, do I really like some of these people on this list? Do I really want to spend money to feed them and to entertain them for a couple of hours? Like, I really had to use my emotional intelligence around it. And I went to the extent where I just canceled the whole party. I was just like, forget it, I'm canceling it. And then some of my really close friends was like, are you tripping? And I was giving all these. One of the big reasons was because it was expensive. Like, that really was.
Right.
But a lot of it was fear that, like, nobody was going to show up. And the other part of it was like, I don't really know if I like some of these people or if I even want to kick it with them like that. Are they even my friend? Like, it like, why, Tony, why are you inviting this certain person? I had to, like, ask myself these questions. But then I went ahead and decided to still have it, and I made the guest list smaller than what it was, because I reevaluated the list. And then my friend was like, you should charge people to come to your party. And I was like, that's hella disrespectful, that's rude, that's tacky, da 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 da. And it was like, no, because your same friends who you call your friends, they'll pay $25 for a drink, they'll go do this and do this. And I was like, oh, and it was like, and by the time you get $20 from this certain amount of people, you have this man. And I was like, oh, and I had to come out of my own pride about that, because I'm the type of person that don't like to ask people to do stuff for me.
Right.
And so then I started realizing it was about me. Like it was me that was tripping, to a certain
Mm-hmm.
degree.
Mm-hmm.
Until somebody checked me on my emotional intelligence. And she was like, you better charge your friends. If they gonna come, they gonna come. If they can't pay $25, then it's just, it is what it is. But
Right.
I took it further because I'm doing my emotional intelligence. I'm doing my EI thing, my EI ambassador over here.
Right, right, right.
But I'm gonna go back to that question one more time. I've asked you it twice, and you did go deep, but I just want to make sure I'm clear. Like, how should you? I know you said it's not your responsibility. It's not someone else's responsibility about somebody else's emotional intelligence. Um, and recently you came to my job.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to one of my other jobs, and now you've come to my other job, and you've given us books. You left books so we could give out to our loved ones and things like that. And
Right,
I took about 4, 5, 6 of them, and I was
right.
like, these gonna be like stocking stuffers, because the
That's
work that you do is so important to me that I want to share it.
right,
When you get something that's such a jewel, you want to give it out to people that you love and care about.
right.
And so I'm gonna go back to that question: how should you introduce emotional intelligence to someone without trying to offend them or trying to like come off harsh? Like, is that me giving that book? Is that just a way of introducing it to someone? And
I mean, that's such a blanket question, meaning there's too many variables. What I would suggest is that some like remember when you were younger and maybe your parent or whoever's watching would say, use your words, right? And it's like maybe it's just as simple as using your words, right? Because if you are,
can hear you.
huh?
Oh, no, no, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Because if the person that you're referring to, either hypothetically or actually, right? If this person is important to you, and you think that by including emotional intelligence into their daily activity is going to help them tremendously, then you have to just say it, right? And how would I say it?
BB, that's hard.
We said at the beginning of the conversation that it's not supposed to be easy. That's
I
why it's
know.
healed. But say if I had to say it to you, right? If number one, if you have a habit of getting in your feelings, having a smart mouth, getting an attitude, whatever, then all I gotta do is wait for the moment to happen, wait for the pain point of the thing that happened, and then that's an opportunity for me to introduce to you one of the better ways to keep yourself out of this situation is maybe incorporating something I've been using, which is this, right? If you just want to get ahead of it, then you just say it. I'd be like, Tony, listen, every time we have a conversation, you take one thing and you run with it. Makes me uncomfortable, makes me feel a certain kind of way. I don't know if you heard of emotional intelligence, but it's something I practice and help me in all areas of my life. Because I care about you, I really think that you should be open to it. Right. And if I'm telling you your attitude, your mood, your energy is impacting me and you care about me, then you should at least be interested in it. And then you might be the coach that coaches them through it as you're learning. But you also got to lead by example too, right? So they
Right.
can't look at you and be like, well, fool, how you want me to do X, Y, and Z? And you were just talking about, I'm not saying you personally, but like
Yeah, yeah.
we're talking about hypothetically. So that's why it's easier coming from me because people know that that's what I represent. They can't find moments where I did not practice it. And if I didn't, I'm very transparent about it, right? And what I could learn from it. But they know this is what I stand for. So when I share it, it's received. They know because I'm not saying it in a way to because a lot of times that's a problem with folks too. Can you can't, as I was saying the other day, some people can't, you know, handle any type of criticism. you automatically assume you associate it, right, with your whole entire being and not just the thing that's being criticized. And that's why people get in their feelings about it, right? So that's why they be like, so what you saying? You saying I'm such and such? No, I'm just saying you overreacted to this conversation, right? I'm not
That's what I was
calling it
saying about the assuming. That's when I
right.
was asking you about the assuming. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was
Yeah.
talking about.
You have to clarify it, but you got to be ready for the entire conversation, right? That's why you got to be have your EI game up, and is it worth it, right? And so that's where the assessment of is this person even ready to receive, right? Because my time is valuable, my energy is precious, my intent is pure. If I am looking to help move the needle in your life, it's from a genuine space. So I have to assess, are you ready for this? Not assume, assess. And in my assessment, I will determine situational awareness. Should I talk to you now? Or should we have this conversation later? Or maybe we shouldn't have a conversation at all.
When you decided to change up, um, and be a different person and go with this movement, how did your family react? How did your friends react, um, to the new you?
Humans are weird, right? You know what I'm saying? So, people, everybody had so there's a group that's celebrating, right? Like, oh, okay, I see where you going with it right off the cuff. You'll always have raving fans of who you are because they have a higher level of respect and love for you. But then you have people who are gonna second guess, right? But really, they're not second guessing you. They're second guessing themselves, right? Because they know if it was them doing it, it wouldn't work. So it's like, let me just see how this thing go. I had close family members go, I didn't know what you were doing, so they didn't come to my seminars. They didn't come to my book signing because they trying to see is this just a passing moment. So
Yeah.
right, a lot of people don't want to get on board till they see the real thing, right? When I went to work for the probation department, I had a lot of so-called homies, right, switch up on me because they like now I'm the police, right? I done went from being in the street to a peace officer. Oh, how that fool gonna be now he the police, this, not or whatever. What I'm gonna do with that? It is not my responsibility to change your perspective on that. First of all, thank you for revealing yourself. Thank you for sharing that because there's so many people I know that has talked recklessly about me and they will never know that I know. I am often in spaces. And because you know why? Because people do not operate in their authentic self. There are people who will talk crazy about you, doubt you, shade you, and see you and walk up on you, open arms. What's up, bud? Hugs, small conversation, all that kind of stuff. So what I'm gonna do with that? Why even bring it up, right? Like I already see. So I got a saying that says, when people act like they like you, I act like I believe you,
Yep.
right? But I'm the one ahead of the game because I'll never give you the type of access that you are pontificating for because I already know who the real you are. And I'm not mad, right? Because here's the thing you talk about both sides of the conversation, right? Here's something that I know for a fact. Just because you don't like me, right? You don't have to. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like me. You don't have to be friends. I'm okay with that. But for some reason, especially in our culture, if somebody said they don't like you, it's like we funky.
Yeah.
You don't like me? I don't like you either. I'm not like that. If you don't like me, it don't mean I don't like you. I just know you don't like me, so I'm not going to spend any time with you because I don't know you like that, right? What I do know of you, I like. I don't like the fact that you don't like me, but it doesn't make me not like you. So what EI does is allow you to have emotions and intelligence and separate the two, right? So that you don't box everything, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so people struggle with that. And that's why those of us that practice this stay on the higher frequency, because most people won't be able to understand how one can do that. So that's just how it is. And like I said, I don't even got time to be tripping off somebody else's feelings. I'm too busy on my own. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? When I prepare every day, Tony, and step out, when I come to this interview, when I respond to my next text, we remember we talked about in class energy transitions, right? Every time I transition to another space in my life, I'm going to ask myself, how do I want to show up? How will I respond if it goes sideways? What is my intention? That's it. So I'm always ready. It takes me 5, 10 seconds to think it through. So when I walk in the grocery store, remember we use doorways. This is deep
Yes.
game that we giving them that they only get in training, but for both sides of the conversation, we'll give them a little bit of it, right? We use doorways. Every doorway we pass through is an opportunity to reset your energy, making sure that you're self-aware. And when we talk about self-aware, we talk about three things: your mood, your attitude, and your energy. And then you're asking yourself, how? How do I want to show up? Because I know when I'm coming from this space and going to that space, there is a transition. So I look at doorways almost like metal detectors, but we don't call them energy detectors. When you walk in the house, when you walk out the house, when you walk into a store, you walk out of the store, you walk into the bank, when you get in your car, that is a doorway. Anywhere there's a frame, anywhere there's a portal that you pass through, it's an opportunity to be mindful of how you're about to show up. We put in work for a lot of people, for our jobs, for others. We give people a lot of our time and energy. Why not give it to yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that you can have the best day ever?
Why do you think that we don't put ourselves first? I mean, I'm gonna go back to like the environment thing. That's what you started out when we first started having this conversation. That you were acting out and that type of behavior because of your environment. You think that our community or people per se just we don't put ourselves first because we don't love ourselves first, or is it because of other people, or like why is it that we go the other direction? Why don't we put ourselves first instead of
I think that's the part two, right? I think you cruising on unpacking a whole nother segment, but I'll just simplify it by saying, for someone who hears this part of the conversation, we all came here with a clean slate. When you were born, you were open book. And then people started sharing with you how they thought you should be. Do this, don't do that. From day one, as you come into yourself, you have an accumulation of beliefs, values, and life experiences that are programming. So, coming up in the streets, we go back to the street conversation, the core of my being, stepping up and being in the front can get you put in jail, get you killed, get you robbed. If you were trying to, back in the day, if somebody be like, oh boy, you the man, we'd be like, I ain't the man, but I know him though, right? You would deflect. I come up in an era where you drove undercars, right? You could have a pocket full of money, but you wore the same thing every single day. You drove your bucket and kept your clean thing to the side that only came out on special occasions because you didn't want to lead with being out front because people tell you doing too much, you siding, you think you all that, right? So when it's really time for you to shine in today's time and let all your talents be revealed, let your aura, right, exuberate out into society, yes, you have a subliminal tape playing about you better play it down. You better play it small because people are going to think that you are conceited or think you all that. And it's like, so yes, depending on the people that were around you and what you were programming to hit. And if you haven't, I'm gonna go back to that D word. And if you haven't decided that it's okay for you to let your light shine, right? You don't dim your light because it's hurting somebody else's eyes. Be everything that you were brought here to be. And those who can appreciate it will show up. And those that can't, they will fall back. And your job is not to be concerned about those who fell back, those who don't support you. You know, people always online talking about, oh, nobody support me. This not. I get it because because you're projecting, like you feel like you would support this person, but the reality of it is those not your people, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe what you're doing, they're just not interested in. Doesn't mean they don't support you. Maybe the next thing they'll support, right? So that's also another conversation. So if I'm selling black sweatshirts, but your favorite color is red, you may never buy a black sweatshirt because your favorite color is red. Doesn't mean you don't support me. It just means I don't have what you need. And see, we got to be able to separate the two. That's where EI is about, right? Being able to separate the two. So, at the end of the day, that's a long answer to a short question. But yes, it is rooted within your beliefs, your values, and your life experiences in terms of how you view yourself and the confidence, right? We talked about confidence, right? Where you attach your confidence to in terms of giving yourself the authority to stand in your greatness. Greatness is upon you. You just got to act like it.
Changing the narrative, community.
For sure.
Changing the narrative. That's what I
Drop
heard.
the mic on that one.
As you should, because that's what I was thinking. Like, ooh, when did somebody first tell me that that I was ugly, or that I couldn't read, or
Right.
I wasn't good enough, or and that could have been all the way back in second grade or third grade, and been holding on to that ever since. And then every time I decided to do something new, I remember that person saying that about me, and I just kept growing and believing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you was talking about that, I was like, ooh, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
You've given out a lot of gems today. You've given out a lot of knowledge, a lot of reminders. Right now it's a lot of mental health going on around the world, and stress and trauma. And how do we what's your perspective on mental health and like going to counseling, or people that don't even believe in counseling, or people that don't believe in the church? What is your perspective of people trying to get healing around emotional intelligence and changing that narrative? And that's going to be my last question I'm going to ask you today.
Yeah, no, it's good. I don't have a perspective on that because for each of his own. I would just suggest that if you are whoever you are, if there are areas in your life that don't bring you joy, that you don't feel in flow, right? You don't feel like things are fluid, meaning you don't feel like there is ease in your life, then I would challenge you to spend time on that area of life. So if you're broke, right, financially, right, then you need to spend more time developing a skill so that you earn more income, because there's no shortage of money. If you're broke in because you've experienced something that has you not be able to be your full self, then you have to double down on that event in your life that you keep referencing and ask yourself, why does it have such a handle on you, right? If you are overweight, right, then what are you actually doing to drop the pounds? If you are unhealthy, instead of just saying, oh, the doctor said this, well, what are you actually doing to improve your health? If your relationship is strained, if you and your person you in a relationship with not seeing eye to eye, What are you doing to improve that? So we always have an opportunity to improve our situation, right? Right now. There is no reason. You just have to do an honest assessment and take the most important thing and prioritize it and address it, right? We used to have, and I'm gonna close with this. When I worked for the probation department, and we used to take training, defensive tactic training, right? And that basically would teach us, just like a police officer, how to take down someone if you have to restrain them. And one of the things, and even in martial arts, one of the things that they talk about is instead of trying to go strength for strength, I'm going to grab one part of your body and apply all of my strength to that. So I might not be stronger than you, might be bigger than me, you might be more powerful than me, but if I get my hand on your pinky or your ear or something and put all of my pressure on that, yo, you're going down, buddy. Right? There's not much you're gonna be able to do. So when you have a problem area in your life, identify it and take muster up all of the energy and resources you can and smash on that thing. Then you go to the next one. People end up, I think, stress, anxiety, depression, all of things that circle around mental health is because you're trying to see everything at one time. You're trying to do this. You're worried about this and worried about depression, right? Tripping off things that's already happened. Anxiety, concerned about things that ain't happened yet, right? You can't be in the present moment. You're spending so much time doing and not being. So slow down, find out the thing that's caused it, where your pain point is at, and smash on that, and then go to the next. Because you, as long as you got breath of life, you got action. But if you don't believe it, then you'll never achieve it. And that's not cliche. That's real. And the human, the human element, like our whole being, we only here, right, for just to be great. Like we're here to be more. You can always have more because you can always be more, but you got to believe it, you know. And so if you don't believe it, then you got to work on your beliefs. Why don't you believe? Why don't you think that, you know, you look at somebody else and be like, oh, they got this, why you don't think it's possible for you? And that's a deeper conversation. And we don't have time to have both sides of that
I
conversation.
know it's a lot. I'm keeping you forever on the
Yeah,
show.
here we
Forever,
go.
forever. No, 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 no. We are coming to the end, and you are definitely blessed the community today. The chat is blowing up. They with you. They feeling you like it's 100 out here. I told y'all, community, this is why I love this man. This is why I'm
Appreciate it.
grateful for him being in my life,
Much
and
love.
the opportunity to know him and to continue to get
What
educated
I'm
by you
trying
is everything to me. You my superhero. You are definitely one of my superheroes, and I don't say that to about many people often.
to right on.
And that's real. And that's real. I'm serious.
Appreciate that.
But I'm gonna give you the opportunity to give some shout outs, your lasting words to the community. You've given so much, but just a little bit more. And now he not your mentor because he not my mentor. He don't mentor people. Somebody said that's my mentor too. But I be telling him he my mentor, but he don't mentor people. But
We can't say his
yeah, you
name.
are mentor.
It's just a Facebook user, so we don't know who that is.
Nah,
but
I'm calling you. I'm calling you out.
I'm gonna say this, you guys, though, right? Though, first of all, thanks everybody who take the time to tap in. Please make sure to follow me. I'm dropping nuggets on a regular basis on my Instagram. I never worry. Is where you'll get a lot of stuff at it, and I'm just now firing up my YouTube. Oh, hey, Yolanda, yeah, Yolanda, she's she's in there too. And so I would say this, you guys, anybody who is still trying to wrap their head around this conversation around emotional intelligence, right? Um, just ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel when you get agitated, right? How do you feel when you're angry, when you're disappointed and you're frustrated? And most importantly, ask yourself, how do you feel when you don't know what to do with that, right? and how your life becomes partly cloudy, and how you are not available, right? Something happens over here and then you go over there and you can't even be in the present moment because you're still tripping over what's happening over there. And if you can identify when that's just a one of many reasons why you should pay attention. But if you can identify with that, then that alone is the reason why you should move up the ability to practice emotional intelligence to the priority, right, in your life. Because again, you cannot manage what you're not willing to measure. So I say tap in. If you need some additional guidance, I do have, my 30 days to emotional wellness book and program, right? You can go to my website and you can take the online program. You can order the book off of Amazon if you want. Any one of my books. Black Intelligence is one book. I Never Worry is another book. And then 30 Days to Emotional Wellness. Right on, Will. These books, right? I put, what I'm saying, my heart into them, and I want to make sure that you receive it. Did we talk about your books and how we, the community, can get them for booking the work and seminar retreats? Yeah, so hit up the website, ineverworry.com. Send me, go on Instagram, jump in the DM, right, and say, hey, I need a book. I want to know how to come bring you to my job, and I will start the conversation. More than likely, if I feel like I'm gonna use my situational awareness, if I feel like you are authentic about really wanting, not kinda, but if you're serious about it, then I will allocate the time and energy to be supportive. But no window shopping, please. No, just kind of seeing, right? You can just scroll down my pages and get free game. But if you want to take it to the next level, then go ahead and take it to the next level, and then inbox me or DM me or whatever it's called, and we can start the conversation. But I appreciate it, and I have some exciting things coming up for next year. Where I will bring the community back together. Before the pandemic, we were bringing hundreds and hundreds of people together to talk about emotional intelligence. I am going to do that one more time. And yeah, so you guys have seen me. Thank you. Just want to know how to get them. Thank you, Shani. I appreciate that. Yeah. And so, that's what I got to say, Tony. Like, I ain't hard to find, you know what I'm saying? And so let's stay connected.
Listen, you might break up with me, but I'm never gonna break up with you. So I'm just letting that be known. The community, you heard that.
Right,
Might
bro.
become, No, for real. Thank you so much for taking time. I know you're a busy, busy man, and I just really wanted to have you on this platform. And I wasn't the only one advocating for you to be here. Like, there were several people like, we got to get DB. We got to get DB.
Yeah, a couple of people came to my attention. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody that was trying to get DB on the platform. He made it. He here. He brought what I knew he was going to bring. And we definitely got to have you back again because the CEO wasn't here. Shout out to John Henry. I wanted you to be on this show. No, he definitely need to be here because my perspective is great, but I wanted him to have his perspective as a man as well, and to get in on all this gem that you was giving to community. So we definitely got to have you come back again. Community, yes, like he said, he will come to your job. He will teach y'all. He will teach you guys this. He has a 30-day emotional intelligence book that will give you all the guidelines of getting your stuff in check. I have read the book over and over again, and I'm still a work in progress. So it's definitely something to get into. Check out his website. Follow him on social media because he's always giving out free game, and we really, really appreciate that. In our community, because it's not often that we have somebody that look like us, and act like you do, so that's very important. I'm proud of you. Just keep ascending, like I always say.
For sure.
And I know there's even bigger and better things that God is going to place into your life, and I wish that upon you. I even wish it upon you before it comes to me, and that's how much I love you.
That's what's up. I love you too. I appreciate it. Shout out to Big John Henry though for putting this platform together and all the work that you guys do, Yolanda, and everybody else is in part of what you guys are doing. So thanks for having me. Thanks for being patient with my schedule. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.
That's right. That's right. Community, you heard it first on both sides of the conversation. Our platform, your platform. This is what we do. We just try to keep you guys encouraged and educated and throwing out them good old bomb gems that he did today. But I heard you say you have to be accepting and you have to believe and you have to communicate. And most important, you have to make a decision, community. You have to make a decision about your emotional intelligence, your way of being, who you allow to have access to you. It's a choice. It's a choice to be and do. And remember, there are consequences. There are consequences in this life with emotional intelligence. So we can't keep blaming mama. We can't keep blaming daddy. We can't keep blaming the atmosphere or the environment that we're in because we all have a choice. That's what I heard you say, DB, and it's rooted in me. And I hope that community took that in as well. Watch your mood. Watch your attitude. Check yourself on how you showing up. And most of all, be grateful and have gratitude for each and every day and create happiness. Walk in love. That's what I heard you say. And I heard you say, just say it. Just say it to the person. Tony Rochelle, just say it, girl. Just say it.
Use your words.
Use your words. And it's okay to make a decision in your life so your light can shine because your life is important. You are important. You are first, God first, and then you're first in my book. But yes, community, you heard it first on both sides of the conversation. Tap into us. If you're not following our social network, get at us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We even got a tiki-taka. Okay. If you know somebody that's just as brilliant as this man right here on this platform, please tell them to come our way. We would love to have them because there's so many people in the community that's doing beautiful and wonderful things, and we would love to highlight what you're doing. Or maybe you're someone that's just educated on something that our community needs to be educated on. We would love to have you on our show. We would love to get to know you up close and personal. Visit our website, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our newsletter. And again, if you want to volunteer or maybe you want to be up here on this platform, we would love to have you. It's the holiday season. I know a lot of us get in our mental health and we get discouraged around this time. There's a lot going on. So I want to just encourage everyone to keep ascending, pray, keep your faith, reach out if you need help. It's okay to not be okay, but you definitely have to reach out to one another. Until then, we'll see you on our next show, which will be Tuesday at 7 o'clock, our Hidden Gems show. And we hope to see you there. Until then, peace, love, and keep ascending.
All right. Peace.